Hey y'all, Chris Cooking Nashville, the beautiful Ash Taylor here. Let's talk about positivity because right now I think the world needs some. All right, we are here in the new YouTube studio for a health vlog, and we really appreciate you guys being here. This is the first week we're going to put the health vlog on the Chris Cooking Nashville Studios channel while simultaneously doing a keto recipe over on the main channel. So if you're watching this on the Chris Cooking Nashville Studios channel, you should also go over to the keto mocktail recipe with the salty electrolytes if you are interested in something very refreshing, especially for summer.
Yes.
That is an amazing drink recipe. It's so good. It's got all the electrolytes you could possibly need in it, and it's super low carb, and it's easy to customize it however you want. That's a fun one. So I can actually put that link for you guys down in the description box so you can go over and check out that Keto, Chow, salty electrolyte mocktail recipe if you would like. So that being said, we're doing the health vlog here on the Chris Cooking Nashville Studios channel. We appreciate you guys joining us in the YouTube studio.
Yeah.
All of my links are going to be down below for you for everything here and the main channel as well. So go down and check that out. We have the puppy dog here with us today. She is joining for the health vlog, and we just wanted to talk with you guys about positivity and optimism and a proper human diet. You can't have the success you need from a proper human diet and be super negative and super unhappy all at the same time. I mean, you can for a little while, but eventually that's going to catch up with anybody. Your brain fog and all of that kind of stuff that leads to those sorts of feelings, you don't want to continue to lean into those patterns, especially after you get out of the brain fog and you've used the keto and carnivore lifestyle to try to change that about yourself so that you're not brain fogged and irritable. And I know because I used to be this way. I used to have really bad brain fog and really bad irritability, and I was in pain and I was struggling. And like even now, if I'm having maybe just kind of a bad day or I'm not feeling 100%, that's fine, but I don't in any way act the way that I used to. And I'm really thankful for that. And so right now in the country, there is a lot going on. We're not here to talk politics. We're not here to talk who believes what or who's supposed to get voted into office, whatever you believe, fine. I don't care. We don't want to talk about this. We don't want to argue about any of this. What I do care about is there is so much divisiveness in so many different places right now. The color of your skin, your sexual orientation, what you believe religiously, who you vote for. I mean, there's so many reasons that people are arguing and angry and divided. And here's the deal, folks. I just want all of us to consider how we can take care of our health, not just by what we put into our mouth, but what we put into our mind as well. What would come out of our mouth can be as much of an issue as what goes into it.
Yes.
And in fact, there's actually a biblical principle, which if you don't believe the same thing we do, that's fine. I'm just telling you where I'm coming from here. There is a biblical principle that it's not what goes into a man's mouth that defiles him, but what comes out of it that defiles him. And if we are hateful and we are angry and we are divisive with these things and we just want to be so at odds with everyone around us, it doesn't matter how great your body looks and how great your body feels, you will not have a fulfilled life. Because regardless of what you believe, you can't hate everyone around you for being different than you and still be happy.
No.
There's no way. There's no psychological way. There are plenty of studies out there that psychologists talk about how if you are hateful towards everyone around you, you're not going to experience joy and happiness and contentment and all these other things. It's just not going to happen. So with all of the divisive things going on in the world right now, I think it's important that we all understand as a community that us being supportive of each other and loving each other and thinking about it's not just about the meat that we eat, but it's also the love we have in the life that we're living that's going to make a huge difference. My health is so much better when I am surrounding myself with people who love me, who are positive, that I am able to love, that I am being positive with them, the optimism we have. And this is one of the things carnivore has done for me, is I find it much easier to feel that way and find all of these things, but you have to be intentional about seeking that out, and you have to go look for it, and you have to not just take care of what you're eating, but also take care of the food you're feeding your mind with.
Yeah.
And the things you're thinking and the things you're doing in response to how you treat other people. And all of this is so important for you to be able to live the most fulfilling and beautiful proper human diet life that you possibly can. It really matters, and it's something that's very important to us. Do you have any thoughts on this? I know that we've talked a lot about this.
Yeah, I mean, clearly the food that you put into your body is definitely so important, and we talk so much about that on this channel. But I also think in order to truly be healthy, it's almost like you just have to think about your whole body. You have to think about what you're putting into it. You need to think about what you're putting out into the world. You need to think about your mind, like your mental health. There's all these different things that basically, you have to kind of just consider, and you have to kind of think about. I think that's something that's just very, very important, you know, because it's like your body is a whole. Yeah. Right? It's like, it's not just one thing, it's all of these things put together. So I think kind of what we're really kind of talking about today is we're really talking about the mental health side of things. We're also talking about positivity, where it's like you're speaking good things out of your mouth, not only to the others around you, which I think is very, very important, whether that's a stranger on the internet, whether that's your spouse, your children, a loved one, a friend, but it's also, I think, speaking positive things over yourself.
Right.
I think a lot of people, and I used to be very guilty of this, and it's still something at times I struggle with. It's like this sense of even if you don't mean it to, you're almost basically talking about yourself and downplaying yourself.
Right.
It's like, it would be great if I could lose 100 pounds, or I just can't do that. And it's like, okay, I understand maybe you have limits, but it's like, are your limits the reasons, you're listing?
Yeah.
Are those actual limitations, or is that you not speaking positive life into your own self, into what you're trying to do and what your goals are? And so I think, especially, the world is already crazy. It's been crazy, and it always will be. And, there's so many things that we just cannot control. There's so much division. There's so much hate, and there's so much negativity. It's just, it's like you can't help but open your phone and just see so much stuff going on in the world, and it gets depressing.
Yeah.
It really does. And so I think where I'm coming from, just with my own experience, I think it would be really great if we could encourage people to go out of your way to say one thing super nice to someone, whether that's a stranger on the street, and you just say, hey, I like your shirt, or I hope you have a good day, or whatever that could be. But also do something nice for your spouse, do something nice for your kids, your loved one. Just be that light and be that positivity in the world, but also say something nice about yourself.
Yeah. Speak
positive things about you and your health goals in your life. Hey, maybe I'm not where I want to be health-wise, but I will get there one day. Or, I'm not really good at this, but I'm going to work to be better. And just kind of start going about things with a positive attitude. And I think that will really help your mind, because truthfully, I think sometimes we really don't think about the power of the mind. We're so focused on what we eat. We're worried about working out, and all of these are super important.
Yeah.
It all starts right here.
That's right.
And so I just think it's very important to just go out in the world and speak positive things, and also to guard your heart and your mind against just all the negativity and the hate. For me, I've literally started shutting off my phone at certain points throughout the day. It's like I go on, and unfortunately we have to be on social media. That's kind of what we do.
That's what we do for a living.
Yeah, so we're on there, but it's like, we started this thing where it's like we go on and we post and we do what we need to, and we interact. And then when the feed starts getting crazy and it just sees, you see things, it's like, nope, shut it off.
Do
it. And then I go outside and I go take a walk in the sunshine.
Yeah.
It's just things like that. And so I just think that is kind of the message that, I think is important to share this week, with so many different things going on, and people being so scared and angry and hurt. All these different emotions, and the division, and, everyone just kind of just struggling, honestly. That's what's happening in the world. And so I think it's positive, just to be the positivity.
Yeah.
And it's like, kind of to stay strong during these times.
I agree. I think the keto and carnivore world has the potential to go so much further than just convincing people to lower their carb count.
Would agree.
I think because of the effect of a proper human diet on our mental health, we have the ability to influence so many other people to change their lives and to have a more positive outlook. This is something that we as a community can be a massive influence on the world around us, because we can be not only the people that are eating low carb,
right,
but we can be the people that are using rational thought and are calm and are logical and are optimistic and are just a beautiful force in the world, because we're not full of brain fog and depression and anxiety and all of these things that come from eating the ridiculous things that have been pumped into our food system by all of the corporations.
Yeah.
We're talking about the negativity that comes from not just what's going on with our body physiologically and with our mind mentally, but with our society, because of all of the political and the financial based just BS that is out there that manipulates how we all live our lives. Somebody else gets rich off of the fact that we fight, that we eat junk, that we can't think clearly, that we are, basically kept down.
Yeah.
And the keto and the carnivore movement is about so much more than just eating a whole bunch of meat and cutting out the sugar. I mean, that's a huge part of it. That's the first step. But there is so much more we can do to be a positive impact in the world, where people don't then look at us like we're some kind of cult or we're crazy or, any of these other things. Like, it's going to take time, and it's going to take people just being kind and being rational and logical and calm and optimistic to show people this is not about me telling you, you better do this my way or you're going to die. It's not about that. Like, that may be the outcome if they don't listen, but that's not what this is about. What this is about is having a positive impact on the world around us, not just on our own health, but on everyone around us. And maybe that's your kids or your grandkids or your spouse or your cousins, your aunts, your uncles, your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, whoever within your little sphere of influence that's right there with you. Maybe it's about your local community. Maybe it's about your church or your book club or any of these people that you're out there interacting with on a daily basis. Maybe it's bigger. Maybe you get involved in government. Maybe you start a YouTube channel like I have and you do these kinds of things. Whatever your method is, having that optimistic, positive influence on all of the people that you can reach and touch, that is the power that comes with a proper human diet. It's not just about what happens in your body, but it's about what happens in your mind and how you can take positivity and optimism and you can go change the world a little bit at a time. I've used the phrase in a lot of my main Chris Cooking Nashville channel videos, changing the world one plate at a time.
Yeah.
That's really important. The one plate at a time is the recipes and the food that people are eating, but the changing the world part, that's what we're really talking about, is how to have an optimistic and positive influence in the world, especially right now when the world really needs it, because we love you guys. We want you to be able to love the people around you and live a full life, but none of us is going to be able to do that if we don't figure out how to have a positive influence on the world around us. And it really matters. And that's why we go to the trouble of having a YouTube channel and doing health vlogs and being so transparent about what we go through, because we're trying to inspire other people to have the outlook on life that we do, where regardless of what you believe or how you think this works or whatever, we can all work together to take steps to move in a better direction every day.
You and I have both really struggled, especially with a lot of things when we were on a standard American diet, with like depression and anxiety and all these kinds of different things. And I know that when we changed our diet and when I did things like stop drinking alcohol, and as we've been doing this now for a couple years of literally going into this low carb lifestyle, it's like a lot of our anxiety and depression has gone away, but I can still really remember what it was like. And so I think as you're going online and you're seeing people react, I think for me at least, I look at that and I kind of recognize the symptoms of anxiety, brain fog, depression. And unfortunately, like they have these, because they're not able to think clearly, a lot of people are just kind of lashing out and they're just kind of doing it. And so I think that's just something to remember for people like us, where it's like, we have things like anxiety and depression and all that under control, and we've changed a lot of things in our life. Those people that are lashing out, they just, it's like they have blinders on and they don't know what we know yet, and they're not there, and that doesn't make them less than us though, right? And so I think just having the understanding though to recognize that when you see people lashing out or saying things or sharing their opinions, and just to be calm, be cool, be in control, be positive. And I think people are so drawn to that. Boy, the world is chaotic. If you can be calm and cool and in control of that, I think people just levitate towards that. And you just remember though, it's like they don't have the same experiences that we do yet. Hopefully one day they kind of learn what we've learned. And that's why we're sitting here though talking about this today, because we look at what they do and we recognize what's going on, because we once were there. And so I couldn't agree with you more though.
Absolutely. And I do have to say a big shout out to my wife over here, because there was a time where I was really struggling with depression and anxiety and just all of this kind of stuff as a result of what was going on. And I really needed a lot of help. I really did. And she was very patient with me, and she was so good at helping me see that I needed to be more optimistic and more positive. And she really changed a lot of things for me because she was willing to see me through that. So I think that's just something that is a big deal, and you guys should be never underestimating your potential impact on somebody else. If you can be optimistic and you can be positive and you can have these different viewpoints where you can help somebody around you. Never underestimate your influence.
If I can share something real quick too, I didn't think about this till like just now as we were sitting here, talking and filming, but I remember being a little girl when 9/11 happened. And I think this is a great point and exactly what we're talking about. And I remember being young, and I remember watching the towers fall and all these things. And I remember not understanding, like what was going on that horrific day, right? I thought that when my parents had the TV on and they were watching the news, I thought they were watching a movie. I didn't understand that was real life. I didn't know I didn't know anything. You're just a child. And I remember though going through that day, and every adult around me was so panicked, and I understand why now, I get it, but at the time I was so confused. And I remember though, that evening there was a gentleman named Bob Hodell, who was probably just one of the most calmest, godliest men I've ever met in my whole life. And he owned a restaurant and, was like an entrepreneur and just a really great guy. But he opened up the back of his restaurant, and he had a prayer thing, and my parents worked for him. And so we went, and I remember he took the time and he sat down next to me, and he goes, "Hey, so I know everyone's really freaked out right now. Do you understand what's happening?" And I was like, "No." And he explained to a small child what was going on. He was calm. He was cool. He was in control. He spoke with authority. And so in the midst of everyone being so chaotic, he was calm. And even now, so many years later, as we're talking about this and crazy things continue to happen in the world, I think back to Bob Hodell, and I meant, like, when I think about that though, I'm like, wow, that's the kind of person that I want to be. Right? And he had the ability, and he recognized that it's like, there are children here that you're scaring. They don't understand what's happening. They don't get it. And yes, it's horrendous and it's this and that, but you have the ability to be a calm, cool light in the world, to be positive, to the best that you can be, to lead in prayer or to wish well wishes. And again, he spoke positive things.
Yeah.
Like, I know these scary things are happening, but I want to make sure you know that you're okay and you're loved.
Yeah.
And that's that whole conversation. But it's like, as we're sitting here, I was just reminded of that memory, and I was like, man, like, that's, I think, kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Whether you believe in Jesus or you don't, that's not what that's about. It's his attitude, though, and how he approached these situations.
Right.
And how even in the midst of really dark times where everything seemed so out of order,
yeah,
it's like he spoke light and positivity and was calming and reassuring, and it really stuck out.
Yep.
And it's like, that's what we're talking about. So go be a Bob. Go be a Bob Hodel, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that so many people sit back and want the world to be different, but no one is willing to go be the difference.
Ooh, preach it. Yes.
It's
yes.
really the thing that changes the way it all works when you refuse to leave things the way they are and you say, nope, I'm going to go change things. And to the very best of my ability, that's what I'm trying to do here on the channel. We're just trying to be positive at changing the world. And on the Chris Cooking Nashville channel, main channel, we do it one plate at a time. And that's really what it's about.
And you have to be the change first, right?
Yep.
You have to get your health, whether that's mental, physical, emotional, whatever, under control.
Yep.
And you got to eat your meat. You got to love your life. And then when you get to that point, even if you're still working on it, go out and you go pay it forward. You go help somebody else.
Absolutely.
And you change the world.
I agree. I think one of the best things that has ever happened is I was watching Dr. Barry's videos when I was first learning about keto and carnivore. And I remember I've heard him say this, I don't know how many times in how many videos. If you want to pay me back for all of the things that I've done that you say have helped change your life, go out and spread this message, set an example, lead by example, don't preach at people, lead by example, go out and teach other people kindly about keto and carnivore and what it can do for them. And he said that. And when I started doing carnivore the second time around and I wanted to start a YouTube channel, I did exactly what he asked me to do, because I thought, if I can inspire one person, then it will be worth all the time and the effort. And now here we sit, and this is my full-time job.
Yeah.
And all of this stemmed from him putting positivity into the world.
Yeah.
And being confident and speaking with authority and having an optimism about how you can change your life and you can do all these things, and then teaching us to go do the same thing. And I've had so many people in my life teach me to do this, but he was just another great example of it, and in a way I had never done before. And so here we are, doing the Chris Cooking Nashville and Chris Cooking Nashville Studios channels full-time, trying to inspire and help as many people as we possibly can. And I just want to charge you guys to do the exact same thing like he charged me to do when he didn't even realize he was doing it, and go out in whatever way is important to you and make a change and just be that positivity and that optimism that the world needs so badly for all of the people that you have any kind of influence over. And don't underestimate the influence that you can have by being a positive light. Do you have any final thoughts on that?
No, I think you just said it.
Yeah.
I really do. I think literally the only thing left to do now is shut the camera off and go get our butts in the kitchen and start sharing some positivity.
Yep. Well, one of my lights already died on us, so we're going to get out of here before the second one dies. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, and share the channel, because we're trying to grow this channel to be hopefully as big as the Chris Cooking Nashville channel eventually.
Yeah.
So we can help as many people as possible and be a positive change in a world that just needs it so badly. We appreciate you guys being here. We love every single one of you. This is Chris Cooking Nashville, my beautiful wife, Ash Taylor. All of our links are down below. Eat your meat, love your life, go be some positive influence in the world. And we're going to see you guys right here in the studio for a bunch more hopefully inspiring videos.
We did it.
We did. Stupid light had to die.
And the dog didn't want to sit with us anymore. I was getting a lot of cuddles. I was getting a lot of puppy time.
You were getting cuddles, but you were also getting hair, and I was getting hot.
So. Oh, yeah. Well, she's fluffy, man.
I know she is.
No, you fluffy. She's a fluffy dog.